What is going on, guys? Thank you so much for joining me here today on this Tuesday, April the 25th, 2023 for another metallic episode of Music of Destruction. Coming to you from the MOD Crypt as always, bringing you the best in metal-related content right here on YouTube. Check out Metal Ben's Chronicles, Ken's Death Metal Crypt, and Justin Horrible. You have some awesome, brutally honest metal creators there as well. Now, if you missed anything in the past week, I've been very busy at YouTube here. Click that eye. Menu will come down. All the videos are there for you to get caught up on. I'd appreciate it. Remember to hit that subscribe button down below. It's free to do so. Turn on that notification bell so you know when I post a new video. MOD, giving you only the most real elite underground metal on this fucking channel. Welcome to Album Review Tuesdays here on the channel. And you know what? Today we're going deep into the underground once again for a look at an absolute death metal classic with Necrophagia-Whiteworm Cathedral. Now, this was released in 2014 on Season of Mist Records. This, unfortunately, would be the last studio album that we would get from these legends of death metal due to the untimely passing of Frank Killjoy on March 18th of 2018. And Necrophagia are among the pioneers of death metal and formed back in 1983, hailing from Wellsville, Ohio. They are also the pioneers of horror metal or horror-themed death metal, if you prefer a more, technical description. Anyway, they've gone on to become one of the more sinister and dark bands in death metal history and will forever be remembered as the macabre DM band. 100%. So, the lineup on Whiteworm Cathedral is as follows. We have Killjoy, rest in peace, on vocals. Mirai Kawashima from Psy doing the keyboards. We have Damian Matthews on bass. Sean Slusarek on drums. Abigail Leniro guitars. And Scrim on guitars as well. Without further ado, let's get into this review. The album opens with an intro from a film called The Tempter, and then it breaks into Reborn Through Black Mass. And holy fuck, guys, this track hits you like a ton of bricks to the skull, with its low, gruesome, churning, slime-ridden guitar work dripping with blood. Then we get this sick fucking drum beat coming in with Sean amongst the guitars, and the savage bass work here is what really helps this track's atmosphere, as well as the return of Mirai Kawashima of Psy, lending his dark contributions and compositions on the keyboards. Now, the track picks up in frantic heaviness and aggression with a savage lead section that is brutal and brilliantly executed amongst Killjoy's 6 seething venom-filled vocals. This is a great opener. Next up, we have the track Vige, and the track explodes with cacophonic, brutal death metal punishment as it wastes no time, immediately taking you deep into its horror-themed atmosphere and macabre lyrics and terrifying abominations, deep within labyrinths of drenching, bloody guitar riffing that has tons of meaty hooks and bone-crushing, chugging guitar riffs that blast alongside a pummeling, skull-bashing drum beat that is accentuated by the amazing keyboard work of Mirai, once again with Killjoy's wretchedly twisted, tortured, horrifying vocals. The bass is nice and raw, as is the production on this record, and this is by no means a clean production, and it's dirty and filthy enough to give those guitars such a savage, low-end, crushing fucking viciousness and overwhelming sense of doom and terror. This is another sick fucking track. Next, we've got Angel Blake, and this has a vicious horror movie sample of some demonic growling, and then boom, we are hit by that crumbling, bone-crushing guitar with an aggressive, brutal drum beat that cracks your goddamn skull wide open, beats you into oblivion, and breaks into an almost rock and roll beat on the drums with some savage, flesh-slicing riffs alongside Killjoy's disgusting, wretched vocals of pure sickness and vile-fueled aggression, along with Mirai's brilliant keyboard work as the track progresses forth. These awesome elements really bring the atmosphere of horror and darkness to new heights on this track, and Sean's drumming really stands out on this one as well, and the guitars are so fucking violent and visceral on this track. There's a strong emphasis on crushing heaviness and aggression here as well, with a fantastic lead guitar solo on this track, but it doesn't get technical in the slightest, as it only serves the already horror-filled atmosphere that's been firmly established. We also get some spoken word samples from a horror film in this track as well. This is a great track. Next up is Warlock Messiah, and this is one of my favorites on the record. It has a dark, ominous presence to it right from the opening riff and overall song structure. Mirai's keyboards hit right away and bring a lot of darkness and evil and spiritual presence to the track as well. The drums are absolutely amazing, so is the guitar work, which is absolutely savage, bone-crushingly heavy in tone and brutality, and the tone of the guitars on this album is perfect. You have some amazing, memorable riffs on this track that really gets into your head and pulls you into its dark, horror-filled atmosphere of terror and black magic. Absolutely mesmerizing and breathtaking here. The heavy aggression is so fucking profound on this track, as well as the tempo picks up and guitars go into a low-end, chugging, brutal kind of gallop that adds more brutality to this sick track. This is brilliant stuff. Next up, we have Fear the Priest, which opens with a terrifying sample from The Exorcist when the priest throws holy water on Regan and she screams, "Ah, it burns," in her demonic voices. This really sets the atmospheric tone and brutality as it explodes into dark corridors of cathedral-like keyboard tones and low-end crushing brutal guitar work of raw power and emotional aggression, but also a terrifying, horrifying experience that permeates this track, as this one is all about exorcising demons from a possessed soul, which is completely terrifying. It also has these amazing voice samples from the film, and the guitar work and keyboards, drums, and bass lend alongside Killjoy's incredible vocals really do this track justice in illustrating its fear and terror. This is a kick-ass track as well. Next up, we got Elder Things, and this one is fast, brutal, and raw. And the aggression really reminds me of a black metal track in a lot of ways, but of course that low-end crushing guitar tone and speed and power of the track keeps it death metal. However, it's immensely powerful and will induce neck-breaking, head-banging speeds to go with its incredible hook-inducing riffs alongside Killjoy's sick savagery behind the mic, spewing forth his disgusting venom-filled bile in his lyrics that are fascinated with the macabre world of horror and darkness and its perverted sickness and depravity. This is a great track, and the musicianship certainly conveys these themes and ideas very effectively. Now the album moves into Coffins, and this track is brutal, okay? Very, very fast, relentlessly heavy, and crushing as hell. I love this track, and it's crushing. Very, very crushing, and it blows my mind that anyone could overlook Necrophagia and their importance in the creation of extreme metal, because their power, aggression, sickness, and brutality cannot be understated or underestimated. The track is crushingly heavy and devastating that you wind up becoming a bloody, battered mess and reduced to liquefied mass as its pummeling drums, guitars, and vocals from Killjoy demolish your soul. Mirai's keyboard work here is immaculate as well. So let's check out some Necrophagia here on MOD. Enjoy.
So
And we're back, and you know what, guys? I love this fucking band. Next, we have Hexen Knocked, and this track kicks your ass. It is some pretty brutal, intense places with some of the fastest tempos and aggressive guitar work on the album. There's a lot of keyboard work once again here from Mirai, and a lot of horror movie samples that add so much depth and atmosphere to this brutal, crushing track that it's extremely dark and powerfully effective, memorable and unsettling. Very spellbound in its atmospheric delivery to this track as well. Because of its lyrical ideology and concepts, this is a deadly track here as well. Next up, we've got Rat Witch, and this is another awesome track. So far, there hasn't been a single track on the album that I don't love to death. Rat Witch has a very strong, memorable, almost catchy, hook-inducing main riff that explodes into some brutally bone-crushing density with an awesome drum beat and spine-crushing double bass here from Sean that comes in at the right times. The dark keyboard intro here from Mirai just makes the track that much more dark and sinister as it builds and explodes into full-on death metal cacophony and sinister dark passages throughout this sick trip into Killjoy's vocals of depravity and macabre insanity. This is a killer track as well. Next, we get into March of the Death Corps, and this one opens with some samples talking about the SS Division German soldiers. Then it breaks into a militant drum beat and galloping, crushing guitar tones and riff structuring that is very hook-inducing and memorable. The whole thing is amazing, very overshadowed with some amazing keyboard work here from Mirai, and there's some sick double bass work from Sean. Killjoy sounds as venomous as ever and extremely pissed off as he does on this whole album. This track is obviously all about the blind devotion to militant action by the overlords who seek to control and enslave us all through their so-called wars in the name of their BS democracy. There's some great savage guitar work here on this as well. Next up, we have Silentium Vel Mortis. This one is fast, brutal, and fucking heavy. We get some sonic intense blast beats right away as the guitar work thunders along with bone-slicing savage raw riffs that hook into some low-end crushing grooves and brutal intensity as it slows down a bit into a rigor mortis slime-ridden crawl with Killjoy's sick fucking vocals taking center stage once again, and he has an unmistakable vocal style that no one else in metal could possibly duplicate. We also get some great enchanting dark keyboard work here from Mirai once again, which elevates the horror-filled atmosphere of death to new heights on this track in its gore-filled splendor. This is a great track. Next up, we have The Dead Among Us, and this is another fast, brutal death metal track, but it has a slower crawl to start things off, but it completely shifts gears into a double bass, steam-rolling attack of brutal aggression and crushing guitar work, with its chugging, powerful tones and sonic brutal intensity that sets in very quickly. The keyboard work here once again sets a dead cathedral-like atmosphere of a decaying church steeped in a cesspool of rotting corpses, and that's what this track sounds like. Absolutely sick and savage. Great stuff. Closing out this 52-minute affair is the title track, Whiteworm Cathedral, and man, this is a deadly track. The way it opens with this dark, fucking brutal riff that blows the track open into frantic, low-end churning brutality of violence and horrifying atrocities makes it one of the most powerful closers on a death metal album. The cleaner acoustic guitar intro, along with an amazing keyboard passage from Mirai, really sets the atmosphere up for what you're about to experience on the track. The guitar tone is so crushing that it will shake your whole goddamn house. In fact, that's what the album does. It shook my house for 52 minutes of pure, brutal, horror-filled brilliance. The intensity and aggressiveness of this track is gut-wrenchingly deadly, and that can be said about this entire album because this is Necrophagia's crowning jewel, in my opinion. This track is powerful, heavy, aggressive, brutal, and terrifying. exactly the way Killjoy wanted it. Rest in peace to one of the most brilliant minds in extreme metal. We will always love and miss you, Killjoy. Your music will live on forever. The final verdict for Whiteworm Cathedral from Necrophagia is getting a 10 out of 10, man. This is horror death metal perfection, and I highly recommend this album to anyone who loves crushing death metal. Hail the fucking underground. Alright guys, there you have it. Another album review in the books here on the channel. Hope you enjoyed the premiere. If you're new, hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell for notifications. Merchandise available on the homepage now. Working on new merch right now. Join the channel. Become an MOD Elite. You get great perks. $2.49 for your first month. $4.99 thereafter. Hit the join button. Get access to exclusive content, review requests within reason, band interviews, and promotions. I'm going to be interviewing Metal Bands Chronicles here on the channel May 26th. I did the Cryptworm interview yesterday with Tabor Hanyi, so go check that out, as well as members only live streams, band promotions, and Brothers from Hell Friday collaborations and members only live streams. Lots of stuff for $5 a month. Have an awesome night, guys. We'll see you for Album Ranking Wednesdays. Hails.